warm welcome from the sunny Vienna for the Flexo release webinar, second half 2025. We have quite some items in the what's new here. In this regard, we will be concentrating on the highlights because otherwise we will still be talking tomorrow. In case there are questions during the presentation, please feel free to put them in the chat. And after the presentation is over, there's a Q&A session where we'll answer these questions. In case there are more questions than we can answer in the planned time, or if there are topics that we cannot answer directly, questions that we cannot answer directly, we'll follow up on that and send you the information, the answer afterwards. What we also will send out will be the presentation and the link to this session, to the recording of this session afterwards. Besides that one, let's see, for today the presenters or the hosts will be two of us. That will be me, Alex, who will be doing the talent module, so performance and succession, performance and goals, succession and development, as well as the learning part. And with me is my nice colleague, Sandra.
Thanks, Alex. Hello, also from my side to everyone. I will be focusing on Employee Central, recruiting and onboarding, as well as the platform and reporting highlights.
So you heard already what we'll be presenting. So after the intro, the release highlight will be coming with platform, recruiting, onboarding, Employee Central, and then goals and performance, succession and learning. Before we get started, just a reminder, on 14th of November, the release will be coming to the productive system, and you should also already mark for the first half 2026 in April and May when the release is coming then, the new release is then coming. And with that, to you, Sandra.
Thanks. Then let's get started with platform and reporting. As a lot of you have already noticed, or maybe noticed, we got a lot of new updates and look and feel updates on the latest people profile. Especially for the profile preview and the spotlight, we have now changes to the organizational information spotlight card. We can deactivate self-description. We can view direct reports and team size members. We can upload background images, and we can add fields to the profile header. So let's have a look in more detail. For the organization information spotlight card, we now have two versions. We have a configured option and the standard out-of-the-box options. If you have configured your organizational information spotlight card, then the system is displaying the first 4 non-empty fields for which the login user has few permissions. So also RBPs are now taken into consideration. If you're using the standard card, then by default, the company, business unit, division, and department fields are displayed. You can also now deactivate the self-description feature in the Configure Latest People Profile tool, so you can block employees for adding those short self-description if you wish to. There's also an enhancement to the View Direct Reports and Team Size fields, so if those two fields are enabled, you can now click on them and you can view the photos, the names, the job titles, and the employments of the direct reports. You can also choose if contingent workers are included or excluded, depending on the setting, hide contingent worker in the org chart, and inactive users are excluded per default. Yeah, employees also can now upload their own background images, but also that option you can disable if you do not want to have this in your organization. And also there were some updates to the header fields of the profile, so we can now add up to 3 fields of our own choice into this header section. And this is displayed under the name and as read-only fields. Yeah, so they also introduced a new homepage experience. The main reasons for that is an enhanced user experience by less scrolling, because they have now a more efficient space usage. You have a clearer layout with separating actions from links. There is now a consolidated list of tasks and updates. The tips and the reminders are now appearing on top so that you really cannot overlook them anymore. There's also an improved design and layout for custom content. And of course, there's still some kind of personalization options for the individual users. And of course, also the latest homepage cards and features are still accessible through this new homepage experience. For now, it seems that SAP is really trying to push that really soon, which it becomes already universally available within the next release. So please start preparing your organization for a new homepage experience. Yeah, then already one of my favorites from that release, the enhanced functionalities in the RPP troubleshooting tool, because we now also got a user group search tab in the RPP troubleshooting tool, which means you can not only search for permission roles the user has, but also for the granted and target population. Before, this was only possible with reporting, so this really saves now a lot of time in permission troubleshootings, and I cannot wait to have this on production as well as of next week. There has been also some changes in the proxy access and security module selection. So as all of you know, when you act as a proxy, you can act on behalf of another user or on behalf of a technical user. And SAP is really now trying to improve the security and the controllability, so to say, of that proxy feature. So some tools and admin features have stopped supporting the proxy access. I think the most important ones from that list is the integration and the security center, which means when you're proxying to a technical user which has permissions, for the integration center, you can still not access it because the system is blocking you. Just a short disclaimer on that one. There has been some complaints in the community, and I think also some enhancement requests were already raised. So SAP is really revising that information, and I think, I'm not 100% sure, but the integration center was already crossed off that list. So please, for also latest information, have a look on KPAs and updated KPAs to check what is now really supported in proxy feature and what not. There will be still some changes in the near future. Yeah, and we also know that SAP loves to do some renaming on a regular basis, and this time the people analytics term is the victim, so to say, because this product name is no longer in use. So instead of stories in people analytics, this is now called just story reports to make it a bit easier and shorter. And the terms SAP SuccessFactors people analytics is no longer used in the application UI, in the help documentation, and also not in SAP for me, which means you need to search a bit differently for your KPAs. All the reporting functionalities are now gathered under the platform product. So if you search for help documentation, you will have now to select the product platform and the module reporting. Also in SAP for me, if you open tickets for reporting issues, you need to select the platform domain and then open reporting tickets. There have also been an enhancement to the Manage Languages tool, because as of now, it is possible to change the translation directly in the UI, which means you don't need to download all the custom language back and then upload it again if you do not want. I mean, it's still possible. You can do that if you have multiple labels which you need to translate, but just for single ones, you can use the new UI functionality. Just a short reminder, if you don't know the label code, then you can easily find it out by switching on the English debug language within your language settings. It may not look that nice, but it's an easy way to find out the labels which you need. And also for the legacy reporting depreciation, which were cancelled by SAP, they will start to revise the depreciation plans in 2026. So be aware that there will be some depreciations upcoming for legacy reporting tools. And that's the last one for reporting. So there's also now a new export functionality directly from the query designer in story reports, which means you can now export raw data directly from the query designer to just have it a bit more easier and speed up some processes that you have more flexibility and efficiency, especially in handling large data sets. Then let's continue with the highlights for recruiting. As some of you also already may hear, it is the Smart Recruiters acquisition. So in addition to the normal recruiting module, SAP SuccessFactors portfolio will now be enlarged with the Smart Recruiters portfolio, which makes it easier to manage the entire hiring lifecycle, really from sourcing to onboarding and over to Employee Central. Also, Smart Recruiters has some enhanced AI-enabled capabilities which you can use. For now, we don't have really much dates on how and when and what is happening, so to say. But SAP is now working with high priority within the Smart, also together with the Smart Recruiters team and engineers, to merge those two products and to integrate Smart Recruiters into the SAP SuccessFactors suite. So also here, please keep an eye on information from SAP about the next step within that acquisition. Also from recruiting, we have now an automate onboarding possibility. So we can really start the onboarding process automatically for candidates which are marked as ready to be hired. And this also supports manual interaction still. So just a little reminder, we still need to have an approved offer letter for that candidate, and also the candidate needs to be moved into the ready to hire status. And then we can start that onboarding process automatically with a business rule. There have been also some enhancements to the onboarding initiation status in recruiting. So now we have some improved status tracking possibilities. We can now see if it's pending and not yet started, so to say. We can see if it is successful, also with a link to the new hire details page. We have an employment profile selection for rehire, matches, and so on. And we also have a failed status with failure reasons and more detailed explanations for troubleshooting. Also, SAP and LinkedIn have deepened their partnership, so to say. So for the LinkedIn recruiter system connection integration with recruiting, this is really now a seamless data sharing and synchronization between the two platforms, which should minimize manual tasks and reduces need for switching between two tools. They have also brought up an enhanced mass actions for high volume hiring. So the enhanced mass actions enabling a bulk action for a minimum of 500 applicants at once, so really a very large number. Those mass actions will run in the background, and as long as one mass action is running, you cannot start a new one, but you can still edit candidates one by one, of course, but you just have to wait till the first mass action was finished. Also for the custom sender address for the career side, we got some enhancements. Previously, we only had one single sender, as many of you may know, but now we can have additional single sender for career-related topics, for job alerts and campaigns, for example. Yeah, and then we already proceeding to onboarding. Also here for onboarding, we have some enhancements on the new homepage, of course. We have profile selection cards. We got 3 new ones. We have a pre-onboarding rehire verification card. We have an onboarding rehire verification card and a legal entity transfer or internet hire card. Before they were all stuck together on one stack, so not that easily to be seen which action is really to be taken, but now you have them really separately on your new homepage. Yeah, we also have some new onboarding featured cards, which are dynamically configured, which means they disappear after 30 days of the hire date, so really within that first month of the onboardee, and they should highlight useful information on the latest homepage. For onboarding, we have two of them. We have the welcome and new teammate card and the connect with your buddy card so that you really have easily access to the email address and to the name of your buddy. Yeah, we also got some new automated triggers for the rehire verification step. So if the rehire verification step is pending for too long, there can be an automatic email set up that reminds the responsible users to complete that rehire verification task. And something similar we have now for the completion of new hire tasks, especially for tasks which are normally done by the managers of the new hire. We can set now a date when those tasks should be auto-completed. And currently this is supported for 3 onboarding tasks: the prepare for the one checklist, the recommended links task, and the write welcome message task. Of course, please be aware, or maybe also revise your current templates you're presenting for the write welcome message task, because if nobody is taking manual action, then of course just the default template will be sent out. We can also trigger an automatic restart of onboarding when, for example, the hire date is changing for one of the onboardees. And the rehire is triggered without the cancellation and the new initiation of the process, which means that more data can now be kept for the onboardee. So in addition to the data which we already could keep when we start an onboarding process, we can now keep the personal info, the address, and the dependents, which means for the onboardee, it reduces work because they do not have to enter all the data they may have already entered again. So this is to enhance some onboarding experience. Yeah, we also have now another option to set the event reasons for the onboarding process initiation. So previously we had to send the event reasons by the mapping from a recruiting custom field where the recruit to hire data mapping tool. And of course, as we know that the custom fields are limited in recruiting, we always need to reserve one for that purpose. But now we can also configure a business rule to set the event reasons for new hires whose onboarding is initiated from recruiting. So we still have both options. You can choose whatever fits best for your process. Yeah, what we also can do now for reporting in onboarding is we got an enhanced story report for the onboarding tasks, which means we really can check the due date of the tasks and the progress of the task for a more easily check of the process, so to say. And this is really supported for various onboarding tasks, so for the data collection, the onboarding task, compliance forms, and offboarding data review as well. Yeah, there's also the availability of an enhanced offboarding dashboard. So we now have additional filters of our offboarding dashboard to really narrow down the employees. We can filter by name, status, termination manager, task type, and so on and so on. And we have also the ability to create and save variants of filters. So if you always use the same sort of filters, you can save that so that you can easily select it and do not need to start filtering every time you open the offboarding dashboard. And with that, we come to my last topic, to Employee Central, which is just a short update because we have most of the tasks already in the platform slides. But this is also a really nice one, an enhancement to the master data management tool. Previously, it was only supported to have the master data management from position or from job information, but now it also supports the job relationships. You can make drafts. The drafts can still be edited before the final run, and you can process up to 1,000 records at once. I think this one is really pretty useful when you manage your, for example, matrix or HR relationships and not where positions, but directly where the user assignment. So here you really can easily change and switch job relationships. Yeah, also for Employee Central, of course, there have been some redesigns on the editing UI and history of UI. We now have here brought with us the example of the dependents editing UI that has changed a lot. The list of the dependents is now on the left, so you can pick your dependents, and the right pane is really for the data of the dependents. You can still view all the fields, of course, and edit all the fields, but just a few history buttons and edit buttons, they have moved a bit on top. We have a screenshot here on the next slide, so this is how it looks like. And this is also overall how the new edit mode is looking overall of all portlets. So a bit of change there. So please test it out, get used to the new functionalities. The buttons have switched, so in the beginning you may take some time to adjust to this new history and editing UI. Yeah, also a nice enhancement for the RBP functionalities. So for example, we have a restricted access to employee data based on responsibility period. So if you are a manager as of 2025 for a certain team, then you cannot view the history data of 2024 and earlier, because at that period you were not responsible yet for that team. Also, when you have job change in the future and you will change again position in 2026, then you are not allowed to see future dated records and when you're not responsible anymore for that team. This is really to ensure GDPR privacy and data protection, and can be configured in your RBP management tools. And that's it from my side. I hand over to you.
Thank you very much for the information.
That
was quite some interesting parts in it.
Indeed.
And it will be going on also in the talent part. So this one is like now in the PMGM part, but basically it's like regarding all of the talent information, also like development plans, the transfer of individual talent data from inactive to active employments. So if you have EC activated and have multiple employments, then you have the issue, or you can have the issue that if the user has an inactive employment, they cannot see their, let's say, performance forms anymore, because the inactive employment doesn't have any permissions anymore, and therefore they don't have access to their own performance forms. And that was something that was like a bit annoying, because you could then only like run a report, have a PDF file, and provide it to the employee. And now this was like changed, and with this functionality, you can transfer a person's talent data from inactive to active employments in one step. Only full transfers are allowed, so you cannot select, I want to just take the performance forms and move them, but like then it's really performance goals, development goals, performance forms, and so on. So also continuous performance management data. So the different parts from the talent data will be then transferred. Probably just one last comment to that one. The question came up in the Q&A session, if there's also a mass option for that, and that's currently not possible. So in this functionality, you first need to select the person, so the person ID, and then the inactive and the active employment, and that's something that you cannot do en masse, and that's why there's like no mass option for the moment. Then something that I think quite some customers will be happy about is that SAP was SuccessFactors was going forward with bringing things from provisioning to the system. This is already ongoing for quite a couple of years, and now they changed in the managed templates that you can upload, update, download XMLs. So in this regards, if you like have a template that you don't have on the system, might be that you have it on the test system, download it there, want to move it to the production system, then you can upload the template directly here. Don't need to go to the form template settings as it was before, but you can also download and upload and update existing templates. You have a revision history, so you can see when was change done. You can download the XML from that part, and this is like now available for the different parts, being performance, where you had some functionality that you, or some functions that you could only activate or change in the XML, as well as for goal plans, where like the permissions that you gave in the goal plan for a certain role were also only possible to be done in the XML. Only thing, please proceed with caution, because if you have a typo or something in, then the whole XML can be wrong, and then there might be unexpected behavior, to say it nicely. So whenever you're like uploading, please do a test of the new template so that you are sure that it's working as expected. Yeah, also replacement of legacy performance form experience. It was like coming with the last release that there's a new performance form experience there, and the legacy, the current or the version that you the most know from the past until now, will be replaced with this latest experience with November 2026. So you still have a year to go. Doesn't sound that bad. Only topic is if you have your performance forms or the performance cycle running via the calendar year, so 1st of January 2026 till end of December 2026, then this would be directly in your cycle. And when it's then pushed in November 2026, it would be good that everything is working. So when you're like now preparing your 2026 templates, it would be good to test the experience, the latest experience already, to not have any surprises in the in November 2026. Most of it is like working the same way. I mean, it's functional wise, there is no difference. It's more of the view topic that you don't have the route map at the top and don't have the links at the top, but the links are like on the left hand side. That there's like a side panel then that is like showing or can be hidden again depending on what you want to do there. And these are things where it's like working differently, and you should make sure that everything works as you expected. What is my highlight of this release, at least for the talent part, is this enhancements of business rules, scenarios, context, and functions. Until now, we had in performance and goals no option to use business rules. This was changed. Now there are new route scenarios that you can use. And so the first one that we have here is to change field visibility, editability, and required status on forms. What does this mean? Based on some criteria that you can define. As example, there is a rating option, and the rating levels are 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst. You want comments for the 1 and the 5, so the worst and the best rating, but not for all of the ratings. And until now, it was not possible to say, okay, I only want comments if this rating is exactly this, but you only had the option to say, okay, I want it to be required to have comments or not. And now with this change, you can say, okay, for the 2, 3, 4, I don't need a comment field, or I don't need it required. And for the 1 and for the 5, for the manager, it should be required to add comment. So you can say comment field is like not visible until needed, is required for the manager, and then it's like shown accordingly. So this is making it more dynamic and helps with getting targeted information. Second scenario that we have here is adding review steps upon form routing. So when you have, as example, ratings, you have an overachievement, and everything is rated overachieved by the manager, it might be the case, but it might also just need a second pair of eyes looking on that one. And until now, the route map was always the same. So you had, as example, the second level manager always having a step in there, or no step in there. And now with this option, you can say, okay, if, as example, everything is overachieved, then there should be a route map shown where the second level manager gets the form and needs to do something. Which means that you will need to prepare the route map in that way that all of the different variants of route map steps that you might want to see will be there, but you mark them that they will only be shown based on the business rule. So that's also giving more options and making it more dynamic. And I think that's like a very good topic to go. What was also now coming was that you can mass route ungrouped forms to a specific step. Until now, you could only mass route forms to a specific step if they use the same, if they were like in the same step, in the same group, or individual ones. And now you can do that also for as long as they having the same template and the same route map. So now if you have all the forms in the search results, share the same template and route map, you can mass route them using the move the form to a specific step option. There's also in the 360 something going on, so we can send multiple email reminders for 360 review steps. You just set up several reminder notifications for upcoming 360 review steps, and these multiple reminders help increase the response rate and ensure participants have enough time to complete their tasks. The screenshot is a little bit small, but in the box that is marked, you will see that it's like for the reminders, and you can add in which intervals, in which days, so how many days should this be sent, and you can add multiple days there divided by comma. That was it from the performance and goals part. So let's take a look at succession and development. Besides the initiative to go from to get topics from provisioning into the system, there is also for the EC systems where you have multiple employments, the initiative to get it on person-based. So the talent modules still have the issue that you only have it on user base, so that you did not see all of the information from that person, but you only saw the one from that employment. And that was now changed, so it's now showing person-based nominations. Employees nomination from all of the employments on talent card and people profile are then shown. So here we see in the screenshot the talent card, where in the middle you see the talent card where it's not activated the person-based view. On the right-hand side we see it then that the person-based view, where you see additional nominations that you don't see in the middle. And it's not only on the talent card, it's also on the people profile. So also here you will have the option, it's a setting topic that you need to decide on if you want to have it person-based or not. And here in the upper part, we see it without person-based, and in the lower part, we see the person-based. So how it would look like. There's also now the option to access inactive employees in talent pools. There was the topic that in reports you often saw, or you found inactive employees that you did not see in the talent pool itself, because in the talent pool the view is normally that you don't see them, and this was now changed so that you can view and match inactive talent pool nominations who are in the target population of their permissions. There's a new setting that's the include inactive user in target population of talent pool nomination permissions. So now you see them in the talent pool again, or all of the places where talent pool nominations are visible. If you have that one, and then you can see the history, or also if you say, okay, report and what we have in the system should be the same, you can also clean them up. What was not possible as long as you did not see them before. There's also AI-assisted successor recommendation. So there's a reference list of potential successors who are recommended based on their skills, competences, and work experience. It's using the following data: the position-related job families, job roles, and job profiles, and from the job profile builder, or skills and competences and roles portfolio, or the job information, external work experience, and people profile. Screenshot is a little bit small, but we are on the left-hand side in the succession org chart, where we want to add a successor. And when we click, and this AI feature is activated, you have the option to click on generate. This generate would then would add a successor and would show what data, or you can show which data is used. So on the right-hand side, we see that there are like different information. So on one hand, from the job roles, from the job, the skills and competencies, but as well then at the bottom the job information, the work history is like taken into consideration as well. If you don't have all of that data, you can also say, okay, we use data from this part or from that part to a certain percentage. So you can configure the weight of each criteria used in the recommendation. The default configuration assigns weights of 50% to skills and competences and 50% to the work experience. But if you say like, okay, job architecture is not that developed, so we are like more going to work experience, then you can change the split accordingly. What's also possible now is to create development goals with AI, and when you activate that, you have two options: the create from roles and create from interests. The create from roles will check regarding the roles associated skills or attributes where the employee has gaps, and will automatically select these after the goal creation generation, so that you have that in. When you create from interest, then this is coming the information from the growth portfolio, with taking the skills or attributes that have that are marked as passionate. So in this regards, more options to see where the gaps are, what strong points need to or can be extended. And with that, we are coming to the learning part, which is something that is was already long said, is the universal rollout of the new learning homepage. This is now universally enabled with this release for all customers, and it can't be reverted. So in this regards, customers that still use the old version will be automatically upgraded. If you already had the new version activated and you still had to switch to be able to switch back to the old version, this switch will be removed. And also the setting in the background, the new learning experience switch default will also be taken out from the integrated learning setting page, and you will not have that option anymore. Coming with the new learning page, there's of course also the new search. And with the new search, there's now the option of configuration to hide enhanced search filters. So when you search for something and you got the find learning, where you have like the results of your search, you had quite many filters on the left-hand side, and there was not much option to say, okay, we don't use this or that, and we don't want to see these filters. And it was very limited until now. And now you can do that as an LMS admin, that you go to the configuration file and activate specifically which filter should be shown or not shown. So that's like a good thing to make it more customized, so that you don't see filters that you don't want. What was like also now coming is our upcoming classes in the enhanced search. I mean, yes, many customers would still like to have the calendar view back, but this is like not coming, at least not with this release, and it didn't sound in the Q&A session as if it would be coming with the next release. Second best option here is to see it in this enhanced search, so that learners can view the upcoming classes within the enhanced search results. They have a show classes button that is displayed in the search results when the search criteria match, and Cantor course has upcoming classes available. And when clicking on the button, you can see up to 5 classes. And if you're like opening the item directly, then you will see all classes. This list updates automatically based on the applied filters, and all classes are shown, also the ones that are full or have waitlist. And it's also not like depending on it's just for this year. It would be if you have like one class option now and one next year, that would then the next, then it would also be shown there accordingly. The filter is like not limited to this year. So here also how it looks like in the screenshot. And also another screenshot where we can see how this looks like, that you have below the item the classes information, and this could be up to 5 lines with the classes. There's also an enhanced visibility for custom page content. So custom pages were introduced, I believe, with the last release, and there were some issues that when you made a custom page and added something there, things were then also shown on the standard learning page. This was fixed, so now the option to show or hide banners and custom cards are applied only on custom pages without affecting their visibility in custom sections of the new learning homepage. So changing the enabled status on custom pages doesn't change the enabled status in the respective experiences, and conversely. So in this regards, if you had the topic that you didn't want to use custom pages because it was shown or it was having an effect on the learning homepage, then you can put that worry aside and can start with custom pages. You don't need to, of course, if the learning homepage is fine for you, then this is just an option that you can use that is now working as we want it. There's also a bulk delete of unused iContent files from LMS. So there's like a new page, the iContent management page that we see in the screenshot. And here you can identify and bulk delete unused or irrelevant content stored in the iContent server. So you can view the overall content usage. You can access the affiliate courses. You can schedule deletion of unused files. Please be aware, this is only working on the production system. On the test system, you would still see the information, but you cannot delete it from there. And then you can delete iContent files accordingly. And with that, we are already finished with the highlights that we want to show you with the presentation. And in this regards, let's see what questions came in. So, can you also transfer talent data from inactive employments to active employments? When someone changed from legal entity, is it then via new rehire? Yes, that's one from me. So in the item, it was not saying anything about where the person would then, or where the employment is then. It's just saying that if you have the same person ID, if the employment is linked to the same person ID, then you can transfer it.
Also then greetings go out to Daranda. Thanks for the question. Happy to have you with us within the webinar.
Indeed.
Always nice to see some familiar questions in that case, because we cannot see your faces, unfortunately.
Any other questions? Doesn't look like.
Maybe we still wait for some minutes till questions come in, and I can take the time to remind you again, for everyone who is not yet transferred to the latest people profile, please start as soon as possible. I think there has been a lot of communication already sent out, so everybody should be aware. But as of the next release, the new people profile will be switched on automatically by SAP. So then you do not have any choices anymore. You still can opt out of the new edit and history UI, that is possible, but the view mode will be switched on for you if you do not transfer on your own before that date. So please start, if you need help with that, contact your HRMS support partners. Also Flex is happy to help with that, but just a reminder, please have it on your agendas till the next release.
No additional questions, as it seems. Well, I give it one more minute and we have 3/4 of an hour.
As always, we are perfectly on time, Alex.
Before time. Oh. Good. As there seem to be no questions, there should be sending of the slides and of the link to the recording. It should be done it should be done next week. That you get that one. Besides that one, we wish you still a nice day and already a nice weekend. And see you latest in the next release webinar. Bye.
Nice weekend. Bye.